Hi everyone, it's me. So this week, you can probably tell the title, we're doing a Q&A. Surprise! On my video last week, I asked you guys for questions for this particular video. That's how a Q&A works. But I figured we have a lot of new subscribers, which is very, very cool. Thank you guys so much. And we haven't done this in a really long time. So why not now? So without further ado, let's go. I'm back again. Okay, so I finished that whole intro and then immediately the sun came out of the clouds right into my eyes. So I've taped a sheet up in front of the window to stop the blind. See, the sun's coming out. This video is gonna look awful. I'm so sorry. So before we get into the questions, I thought I'd start with the absolute basics just in case. Hi, my name's Alanna, A-L-A. N-N-A. You can thank my parents for picking a name that could be spelled like 9 different ways. I'm originally from Ontario, Canada, but I moved to the southeast of England back in 2015. My partner is English and from Kent, which is why I moved to this particular area. I think of Adventures in Apps as very much like a virtual journal. So this is my life living in the UK. These are the things that I've discovered or I've been going through, the pros and the cons, just like a snapshot of my life as a foreigner living in the UK. Now that we got that out of the way, how about some of your questions? Worksley says, I'd like to see more videos of you out and about when you're able to. What is your preferred type of day out? Oh, good question. As you might imagine, moving abroad, I really like exploring new places. So, like, a really fun, exciting day out would be to go to a new village or town, walk around. If they have a castle, super cool, let's go in it. If they have a cathedral, yes, please, let's also go in that. Trying out new pubs or a local restaurant, just sort of exploring different areas I really love. I love a museum. If you got one of those, that's really cool. Less likely that a village is gonna have a museum, but still. I just love going out and exploring, trying new places, even something as simple as going to a new village and trying a pub that I've never been to before. That sounds like a wonderful day out. Michelle says, hi Alanna, could you share how you keep your camera steady while walking/driving? Trying to take some vids of surroundings, but it's hard to capture without bobbing up and down. That's a good question. Hold on. I use this. It's got its little stand. You can take this off just because it sits on my desk. But this is the Osmo DJI Pocket 2. Perhaps it's kind of like a GoPro, but it's really nicely handheld and it stabilizes. Look at the little eye. So when hopefully, the plan is when things are safe, people are vaccinated, things are open up, that I'd love to do a lot more tours around villages and towns and maybe less popular places or less well-known places. So that's the plan, and I got this little boy. It's absolutely wonderful. I love it. And it's really nice for stabilization. For those of you who don't know, I have a Patreon account, which is just patreon.com/adventuresinapps. And on there, I post bonus content and bonus videos and live streams and stuff. And it's with those pledges that I was able to buy this, which is just kind of insane to think about. So thank you guys, all Patreon people. Past, present, and future, thank you for this. I don't know how to say your name, but they ask, is there one thing about the UK or an English trait that you feel should be adopted by other countries? Oh, okay, here's one that just came to mind, and I don't know why this came to mind first, but I'm gonna say it because it came to mind first. Here in the UK, and I think it's more of a European thing in general, when you go to a cafe or a pub or a restaurant, and it's far more relaxed than what it is in North America. So when you are finished eating here in the UK, it's okay for you to sit and just hang out for a while. It's just way more relaxed and comfortable. Even if, you finished eating, you can just sort of relax for a little bit. Whereas in North America, if you like are at a restaurant or a cafe or some place like that, when you are done eating, it's kind of expected you get out. So it's far more of like a fast pace, like we need to churn people in and out. You've come for food, you've had your food, now get out. I don't know why that came to mind first. It's been a long time since I've been to a restaurant, but that's your answer. Thank you for asking. Eileen asks, just curious how long it took to get used to driving on the left. It's still not easy. So of course in Canada we drive on the right side of the road. I got my driver's license when I was very young because I needed it. It's very hard to get around solely on public transportation in Ontario and Canada in general. And then when I came to England, I was so freaked out about driving that I took the bus, I think for the first 2 years. And thankfully, because it's way more easy to get around in England with public transportation, that not being able to drive wasn't that big of a deal. I was able to get a bus to and from work. I went to a gym that was nearby, so I didn't have to worry about that. And I just sort of did that for a couple years. But then when I started driving, it just, it was awful. I really was so terrified. And the first day that I practiced driving on the left side, I scraped the side of a BMW and then went home and cried. So it's been a learning experience. One thing I will say for foreigners coming to the UK who are nervous about driving, just do it as soon as possible. I think the problem sometimes is when you put it off and you get more and more nervous about it and it becomes this bigger and bigger, scarier thing, it makes it a lot more difficult. So 2 years was probably a little bit long. I probably should have started a bit earlier, but I did do it at least. I know some people just put it off like indefinitely and then it becomes very like a scary thing to accomplish and get back into. So just a hot tip, a little bit of advice. If you are a foreigner, get in the car as quickly as you can because it becomes far less of a big deal. Julian asks, would you live in London or another city, or do you think Kent is best and wouldn't move? So my partner is from Kent, which is why I came here specifically, but I really do love this part of the country. It's just, it feels very homey now. So I think moving elsewhere in the UK would be quite an upheaval. I wouldn't say no, definitely not. I mean, who knows? But I really do love Kent. I would certainly move around Kent. For something different maybe. I wouldn't say no to moving elsewhere in the UK, but I would say no to moving to London. London is just not my city. I love visiting London. There's always something to do, to see, to eat, to experience, but I do find that the city as a whole is extremely just overstimulating. It's like sensory overload. There's so much happening, which is great for like short visits, but I wouldn't be able to live in London. It's just not for me. Currently, I love Kent. I love smaller villages and smaller towns, and who knows where I'll end up next. Are there any videos of yours that you don't like anymore, or that you think are outdated, or ones you'd like to be able to do an updated version now? Interesting. I said this before and I'll say it again. I can't watch my own videos. I just can't do it. I edit all my own videos, of course. That's why the editing's not that good. But it's one thing to edit the video and it's very sort of just like methodical. You know, I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just sort of editing. But it's another thing to sit and just watch one of my videos. I can't do it. It's too uncomfortable. I'm so embarrassed. It's so cringy. I just can't do it. And also because I've been posting on YouTube, every Tuesday for at least 3 years now, right? It's been a hot minute. There are some really, really old ones where I just think, what were you doing? You're an idiot. But I wouldn't say that I hate them or I really dislike them because it's, you know, in the moment, it's what I did. I created it. I spent time on it. I posted it, you know. Does that make sense? Maybe not. There are certainly ones that I could redo now because this is like a virtual journal, right? I just sort of talk about my experiences, and as I've been in the UK longer, those experiences change or I learn a bit more about British life or why things are and that kind of stuff. So videos that I made when I had been living in the UK for 2 years, and I say things that in the moment were correct. Of course, as my experiences have changed and I've gotten older and I've learned more, I could redo those in an updated way as, you know, living in the UK for over 5 years now, if that makes sense. But personally, I can't watch them. I just can't. Even thinking about them, I'm like a little bit clammy. Andrew asks, how often do you get asked about your accent, and does it ever get annoying? If you're out with your partner, let's say ordering food or something, do you have him do the talking so you can avoid the whole accent conversation? Good question. On average, I don't get that many people questioning me on my accent. I think some people are surprised because if I, like, say, go into a little cafe and I order a coffee, they're not expecting this voice to come out because I don't think there's many tourists or foreigners in my particular area, so it's not something that people expect to hear. But down here in Kent, people are wonderful, a little bit reserved. So it's not often that people will just outright ask me about my accent or my voice or where I'm from. But you can kind of see that split second when I talk to someone and they're like a little bit surprised. Oh, but very few people will actually come out and ask me about it. Gert asks, your most mysterious true crime mystery you'd like to solve mysteriously. That's a tongue twister. Your most mysterious true crime mystery you'd like to solve mysteriously. For those of you who don't know, my girlfriends and I have a true crime podcast called Murder Friends. We release an episode each week. A lot of fun. If you like true crime, go ahead and check it out. I think in terms of British mysteries, Madeleine McCann or McCain, I always get that one mixed up. Madeleine, right? The disappearance of Madeleine. I think that would be incredible to finally know what happened. But if you do like true crime, check out Murder Friends. Okay, it's just another thing that I do each week. I am just perpetually tired. What types of YouTube content do you enjoy? Memes. I watch unusual memes religiously. I watch meme compilations, just mindless, pointless, funny memes. Please. I make a real point not to watch any foreigners in the UK content because I don't ever want to like subconsciously take someone's idea and then use it myself. That seems really stupid when you say it out loud, but I don't watch any foreigners in the UK. I don't want to steal anybody's ideas. I know how hard it is to come up with ideas. I've been here for years. Okay, I get it. So I don't watch that stuff, but I love watching memes. I love watching dog videos. Oh, so many dog videos. L Waves asks, if you could fully transplant one thing from the UK to Canada, what would it be? Same for the UK to Canada for when you visit. Anything you like, small, big, ridiculous, useful, fun, or whatever. The obvious answer from Canada to the UK is my family and my friends. They are always going to be in Ontario. There's no way around it. And there's no way for me to replace that. Most things when you move abroad, you realize like you can replace or you can find an alternative or you can find even something better. But when it's friends and family, you're kind of stuck. For a less heartfelt answer, I would say air conditioning. I know the Brits in the comments always say, we don't need air conditioning. It's never hot enough for air conditioning. And let me tell you, it is. And I want it. In North America, so many homes and businesses and every place has air conditioning. If I could just kind of take that and bring it here, that would be wonderful. In terms of something to take from the UK to Canada, one of the things I always love here, and it's very difficult to replicate, is the history and the architecture and the feeling of walking along in a village and you're on a tiny little winding street and there's crazy old architecture and homes just everywhere, and that is just part of your daily life. You know, people here don't even notice it anymore, which is kind of a shame. Don't take it for granted, okay? It's very cool. I'd love to take that and just bring it to Ontario you know, maybe transform the Walmart that's just a giant brick building into something a little bit nicer to look at. But that's probably going to be a bit difficult. Oh, my legs are starting to go numb. Okay, we got a long one from Dave, but the question at the end says, what's the thing that you love most about living in the UK? I think I kind of just said that. There is so much history here, you know, and there's so many things to look at. And there's so many buildings that are just completely unique and historical. And there's castles and beautiful churches. I don't know if you've ever seen a church built, I don't know, like in the 80s in North America. They're awful. They suck. I'm not even a religious person, but they just suck to look at. And then you come to the UK and you see these, like I went to Faversham recently, and the church there is just unbelievable. And it's just there. Like, you know, I love exploring here in the UK because there's so much to see and there's so much history that you don't even realize is there. Or you go to a pub and they're like, oh yeah, Charles Dickens used to drink in this pub. And you're like, huh? The Hedgehog of Death asks, do you have a preferred brand of bread? Oh, I love bread. And no, I don't. I love cheese just like I love bread. And when it comes to bread, I will eat just about any type. I don't have a preferred brand. Realistically, I'd love to go just to the bakery section and get like a loaf of like pre-sliced farm, what do they call it? You know, the just wonderful loaves from the bakery. I'll have one of those, please. Or maybe like a nice bloomer or sourdough or something. That would be like top tier. But realistically, I will eat any other type of bread. Don't even worry about it. What is or is currently your favorite cheese, if any? Wow, cheese and bread, they went together. Isn't that funny? Probably not. Anyway, what's my favorite cheese? For the last few years, my all-time favorite cheese has been Cornish Cruncher. I actually did a cheese tasting video years ago, if you want to go watch that. Unfortunately, I can't watch it with you because I can't watch myself. But in that video, I'm pretty sure I had Cornish Cruncher for the first time, and I was shocked. And ever since then, I've been a huge believer in Cornish Cruncher. Other than blue cheese is very difficult just to eat straight. Like, let's get real here. Other than blue cheese, I won't, like, reject a cheese. Okay? I love all cheese. All breads, all cheese. Come here. Let me love you. Snickers or Mars? Snickers. Thank you for asking. Lee asks, first question that came to mind was, how is Edenbridge doing? Has it been successful enough to keep it going? Thank you for asking. I can now plug Edenbridge organically. So, Edenbridge, what's that, you might ask? My partner and I run a company because I don't have enough things to do. So Edenbridge is our fragrance company where we make hand-blended fragrances and also some handmade scented candles. But the scents are based on places in Kent or historical famous people. And Edenbridge has been doing really well. Thank you so much for asking. Also, thank you guys for your support. I know a lot of Adventures in Eps people have tried it out and I really do appreciate it. It means a lot, all right? So thank you very much. That's it. That's all the plug. I'll continue to the questions. Marcus asks, do you play any musical instruments? When I was a kid, I used to play piano and alto saxophone, and I now play nothing. Free to Wheel, with your friends and family being in Canada, how do you feel / hear how the UK and Canada have dealt with COVID? Have either dealt with in a different or better way than the other? Canada is so far behind. All my Canadian friends and family are just waiting to get their vaccine. I feel like the UK, I'm not going to get into this deeply. Okay, that's not the right channel for this. The UK has done an incredible job getting vaccines out to people. It's been fast. It's been just insane. This has never happened before, and they're really smashing it, all right? They're doing really well. Canada, at this stage, are still vaccinating vulnerable people and people, I think, over 75, and that's it. So it's been very, very slow, and they're really frustrated. I know they're like, it's just been an absolute mess. So UK, congrats. You did absolutely incredible. I haven't got my vaccine yet. I'm probably going to be the last person to get it, but I'm very excited. Okay, I feel like I've been talking for a million years. I'm so sorry if this was very rambly. Welcome to Adventures in Naps. That's what we do here. Thank you so much to everybody who sent in a question. I really appreciate it. And thank you just for being here, joining me on this virtual journal adventure. I really appreciate it. All the subscribers, thumbs up videos, leaving nice comments, people on Patreon, people who have supported Edenbridge, people who listen to my true crime podcast, Murder Friends, just everybody who has been here and has been supportive. Thank you so much. I really, truly, really, very much, really do very well. A lot. Appreciate it. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!